Hi, my name is Red, and I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. I grew up in the church, and it was a great church, and the word was preached there, and I loved it. And I had a calling on my life when I was probably 13 to 14 to preach the word of God and just to minister and to pastor in some sort of way. So when I was 16, I got the calling to go to Nigeria, and I went to Africa, and it was amazing. I just saw people that I've never saw before and just loved it, and it was just an amazing thing. And I felt God really speaking to me that's what He wanted me to do. But deep down, I had some kind of bigotry inside of me, some kind of hatred that just built up, and I'm not really even sure where it started at. Racism wasn't taught in my family, but it wasn't spoke against. I was allowed to say negative things toward different people, and I wasn't ever told that was a bad thing. I just wasn't allowed, just didn't really say it all the time. But when I did say things, like, it wasn't really spoke against. So anyways, I turned 16 when I went to Africa. I went again when I was 17 in 2005. And that's the year that I said, you know what, God, I know you're calling me to preach, but I'm going to join the Navy. So when I joined the Navy, I went to boot camp and met a lot of people, but the only people I wanted to hang out with was just people like me, people from the South, and people that were white. I didn't hang out with black people. I didn't hang out with Hispanics. I didn't hang out with anybody but people that were like me. And I was just so close-minded and bigoted. Anybody that was different than me, I looked down upon, and I claimed to be a Christian, but it wasn't inside of me. I just kind of kept seeing people for their race of their skin or the language they spoke, or somebody different than me, and I didn't look at them through Jesus's eyes. So when I went to Japan, this was really hard for me because I was around Japanese people, and I always had the mentality that you're better than the Japanese people because you're an American. You're better than these other people in the Navy because you're a U.S. citizen and they're not U.S. citizens yet. I always had that mentality like I was better. But it wasn't even only black and white. It was if you were richer than me, I didn't like you because I thought you were better than me. If you were poorer than me, I didn't like you because I thought I was better than you. It's just this hatred and this bigotry that was embedded in me. So anyways, I went to the Navy. I went to Iraq, and that's where I had a lot of hate. I started hating people that were of the Muslim faith, and I started hating Iraqis, and started hating Middle Eastern people. And I saw some things that just made me just hate them even more. And I had so much hate and anger built up in me. So when I left Iraq, I got out of the military and came home, and God was really speaking to me that I'm supposed to be doing something in the ministry, but I kept running from it, and I kept running from it. The best thing that happened to me when I got out of the Navy was when I met my wife, Sarah. And when she met me, I was in a crazy place in the world. And I've did so many things to almost ruin our marriage, just stupid things. And I've came close to losing her numerous of times, and I don't know how, but only by the grace of God is she still with me. But now I can, like, it's different because when God really spoke to me a few years ago, like, He changed everything in me. There's a guy named Zach McConnell, and I met him about 2 years after I got out of the military, 2 or 3 years, and he was going to a church that Sarah and I were going to, and I just kind of spoke with Zach. I was like, Zach, this is what's going on. I said, I'm struggling right now, but I really want to be in the ministry. I really want you to help. And Zach was the youth pastor at the church we were going to. So Zach really took me under his wing and started speaking life into me. And for the first time in my life, I saw somebody that I looked up to that wasn't racist or wasn't bigoted or didn't have some kind of animosity towards somebody. Zach was the real deal. And the thing was, he wasn't from North Carolina. He was from a different state and a different place. So he wasn't like the people that I grew up around or the people that I surrounded myself with. Zach was somebody that I really mentored and that I look up to. And when I was around him, I always noticed that he didn't make racist jokes. He didn't make racist comments. He didn't make homosexual jokes or jokes toward anybody. He didn't bash anybody. He didn't talk down on anybody. He just loved people like Jesus was. But at the time when I was going to that church, there was still hate in me, but it was slowly going away between him and my wife. My wife really opened up the doors to me to see that there's a world outside of where I lived at, and there's a world outside of just the world that's surrounding me. If you walked in my house before I got married, while I was engaged, you'd walk in my house and you would see nothing but hate. You'd walk in my house and you would look at the walls and you would see racist photos and racist memorabilia and racist marks and racist things on a wall that just spewed out nothing but pure hate, spewed out nothing but hate. That's what was in me, and it was ignorance. And I did it because I said it wasn't hate, but it really was, bro. Like that the hate and the anger and the bigotry that was built up in me. I wore Confederate flag things all the time, and I said I did it for my heritage, but what I really did it for was to cause a stir. I like to see people's actions. I like to see them be afraid of me. It got to the point where I had so much hate. I guess the part that really hurts me the most now to say is my buddy and I were hanging out one day, and I said, man, we should join this hate organization. We should join this. This a very famous hate organization, and we should join it. So I got the guy's number and I called and I told him my name and where I was from, and he asked all these questions, and I was like, yeah. He's like, you'd be a great candidate. So he mailed me an application, and I got an application, and I was going to fill out this application for this hate group to join, and I was down to do it, and I left it in my truck, and my wife said, if you join this hate group, then I cannot be associated with you anymore. But she was my girlfriend or fiance at the time, but she said, I cannot be with you if you're going to do this. Like, that's over the line. So that really spoke to me. I was like, God, I don't want to lose her because I know you have her in my life. So I think she was really there for me to help me not be so stupid and to join that. And with that, with her, I grew up and I was like, maybe that's not right. And she gave me other ideas, and she gave me things that the Bible really said and told me things what the Bible really said. And the greatest thing that my wife lives out and that I strive to live out too now is the great commandment, to love God and to love others. And I wasn't loving others like I was supposed to. I claim to be a Christian, but I think too many times today, Christians have so much hate and stuff built up in them, and it's not spoken about. If you go to churches, like it's just not spoken about, but it's like a hidden thing that's in people. They'll tell racist jokes at times, and they'll use racist comments, or they'll say homophobic things, and they don't love somebody. And I'm to the point in my relationship with God now that I just want to live out the great commandment. I want to love people. I want to love God, and I just want to show the love, and I want to walk the walk and talk the talk, not just be a hypocrite like people see all the time in churches. I don't like that. That's not who I am. And I still struggle with things today, but God speaks to me, and it's like, Red, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. This is not where you are. And along with that is running from God. I ran from God for so long. I knew my calling, but I always wanted to take things in my own hands. And I was talking to a friend the other night, and we were talking. I was like, you know what? I'm 33 years old, or almost 33, and since I've been 18, I've had 13 jobs. I've did the most random jobs you can ever do, and I always think that that's going to fulfill something in me. That's going to fulfill me. That's going to make me happy. But it hasn't until now. I'm finally at the point in my Christian walk where I can say that what I really believe in, like I'm actually living what a Christian is supposed to live like. So now I'm back in school doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm at the church I'm at now that speaks life and speaks godly truth to me every Sunday and every Wednesday. I have mentors that I look up to now. I'm finally pursuing what God's called me to do. And it's took from 18 until 33 to finally figure out that God has me where he wants me now, and to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing in life. And that's my challenge for anyone that's watching this today is stop running from God, because he's going to continue. He's going to get you where he wants you, regardless of what you try to do or where you try to go. God's always going to put you back, and you're going to go through some stuff that it's not going to be fun if you don't follow God where he wants you, if you don't follow his calling. If you keep running, he's going to get you back, and it's just going to hurt more and more. And that's my challenge is, if you know what God's calling you to do, then just do it. Don't run from it. Don't hide from it. Just do it. So now I'm at the point where I'm where God wants me to be. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and it's just taken me this long to figure out. But through the grace of God, I can no longer say that I'm racist. I can no longer say that I'm bigoted. I can say that I'm a Christian and that I love people and that I love Jesus more than anything.